Hi there, I'm Andrea Koppel, and it's time for coffee, the podcast where you get to hear firsthand what the jobs and careers that interest you the most are really like. Hey there, Java junkies. Welcome to another K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. By the way, K-Cups come in 3 sizes, single, double, and triple shots, or roughly 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length. So if you don't have time to throw back an entire caffeinated career conversation, these K-Cup mini episodes of T4C can give you a quick caffeinated fix, whether you're on the go or you only have a few minutes to binge. So grab your mug and take a chug, because it's time for a caffeinated career double shot K-Cup with my guest, Tom Sheridan. So you touched on one soft skill, and maybe it isn't even soft. Maybe it's something that's really acquired, and that is storytelling. It's something that you can hone. What are other skills that you think are kind of essential to be a kick-ass lobbyist? I'm imagining, because you already said you're not a business guy, you don't like crunching the numbers and doing all that stuff, but I can tell you are super creative. Do you think that's an essential ingredient?
I don't know how creative I am. I think I'm really tenacious. So I really think of myself as more tenacity. If one thing doesn't work, I try something else. I just keep trying until I find something that works. I did say, I'm not an MBA, don't like crunching numbers. I hate meeting with my accountant. But I will tell you a very important skill is counting. You have to be able to count to win. So, I always say to people, it's nice that you can pass this bill without making any amendments, but you only have 40 votes, so you can't pass it. You got to get to 51, or you got to get to 60, or 218 in the House of Representatives. There are real numbers that you have to get to. And at some level, I think it drives a lot of discipline that I use in my practice every day, is that, it doesn't matter what you think or what you feel. What it matters is, did you get to a majority? Can you get that bill to win? And it helps you with the practicalities of compromise. And sometimes, particularly honestly, on the progressive left side, compromise is sometimes perceived as a dirty word. Well, don't play in the legislative environment if you don't want to deal with compromise. That's what it was created to do. So, just to be in democracy, to be in legislation in a democracy, is to embrace the idea of compromise. And a good strategy knows that, and knows how to count those numbers in order to get to a win.
I've mentioned your book, Helping the Good Do Better, How a White Hat Lobbyist Advocates for Social Change, and we'll have a link on show notes, so anybody who wants to check it out and buy it, of course. How has lobbying changed, Tom, since you got into it 30 years ago?
Yeah. The Supreme Court decision in Citizens United was singularly a major blow to democracy, but it was a real blow to progressive public interest lobbying. We don't play on the same playing field. Private corporations are treated like people, and they're basically unfettered, and there's almost no rule for what they can and can't do. I work for not-for-profits, and we are tied up in, as much legalese and red tape as you could possibly wrap around us. If you're a C3, you can't say this. If you're a C4, you can't do that. If you're a PAC, you can't give more than X. We're highly, highly hamstrung and regulated as not-for-profit public interest groups, and the private sector is simply not. And as a result of that, the playing field is so unbalanced. And I think that's why you see the frustration that you hear from Americans of all political parties that Congress can't get anything done. And can't get anything done that people care about and people appreciate, because it's been tied up in money. And I think we have to get to the bottom of that. And I was so encouraged that the first bill the House of Representatives under Nancy Pelosi passed was H.R. 1, which is really to end Citizens United and the influence it's had on democracy. It was the first priority, and it was the most important priority in my judgment, because the whole system doesn't function well when money is such a pervasive and corrupting influence. But I will also say to your listeners, we have to understand why money plays this role. And it's because too many of us allow a 30-second commercial on our TVs to tell us who to vote for. We don't do our own homework. We don't engage in town hall meetings. We do not do the participatory work of democracy, and therefore people can buy your opinion or can buy your impression on hard media, on social media, on soft media. People are buying your opinion, not with truth, but with dollars. And at the end of the day, if we give that up, if we give up our own sense of truth or truth finding and the active effort of being a citizen, we won't be able to save the democracy because we gave up the heart of it. And the heart of it is our hearts and souls and our minds and our ability to ask our own questions and get to our own answers. The notion that, now people only rely on one news source, or if they rely on news at all, is a really frightening moment in democracy, and it strikes at the heart of it. And so those things are that's the big change, but it's also the big challenge that I think we're going to have to confront, and we're in that battle right now. We're in that battle today.
Thanks for tuning in to this K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. If you want to listen to our entire caffeinated career conversation, please check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to Time for Coffee, where the professionals in the jobs that most interest you always have time to grab coffee 24/7, no matter where you live. I have one quick favor to ask you. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Time for Coffee. Thanks so much.